run through to 5th place from 10th in a spare car. Ramon Pinheiro, 3 pit stops, but still manages 7th. It was all going on. So, you know, really, as Spanners pointed out, the hero of the hour is, in fact, Adam Davis there, the driver from Blackpool. And what a result by him. Now, we've got a fairly interesting, tough race coming up for Heat 4 of round 3. We've got teammate to the one we've just been watching, Adam Davis, in Steve Gray. Steve Gray's going to be out in this one. We've got Ryan Jones, we've got Matt Bartsch, we've got Andrew Duff, we've got Tomasz Krakowski, we've got Steve Gray, as I've said, Guillermo Van Pamelen, he's there as well. We've got Gary Jones, we've got Darren Pearce, we've got Harvey Baul, and we've also got Jessica Alexander. No, it's going to be Zuzewski. That's it. Adrian Zuzewski is the stand-in driver in this case, not Jessica Alexander. She's covering a different driver. So Adrian Zuzewski is standing in for David Joseph, who's away ill and can't take part. So Zuzewski we've seen showing really well earlier on, even though he was just a stand-in, a very last-minute call there. Okay, so let's have a look and see how the qualifying goes here. It's going to be very difficult to predict this one. We're looking down there. That looks like it's Gary Jones there in the red suit, as they're sort of panning down. Yeah, there's Steve Gray. Now, Steve Gray's going to be interesting one. See that big GoPro on the top of his head? He is teammate with Adam Davis. They do a lot of karting together back up north, and there he is waving away. He's got quite a lot of friends and fans of Steve Gray. They'll all love that one. But now he's closing his visor for the serious business of qualifying for a British Rental Kart Championship heat race. And, well, Steve Gray, we've seen him get some decent points, but he's another one who's probably on the bubble. He does need to keep packing away those points as much as he can to keep his hopes alive of making it into the semi-final. Semi-finals, of course, are tomorrow afternoon. Steve Gray and Adam Davis will have one more heat race tomorrow, and then the question of whether or not they're in the semi-finals arises after that. So, others to look at in this, well, we've got Matt Bartsch. Matt Bartsch, we know, can get the job done. He won in exceptional circumstances earlier on. Andrew Duff. Andrew Duff has been having quite a good tournament this year, and he's normally there or thereabouts, you know, in the mid-pack, but he's been really solid and consistent and in a very believable position this time around. Guillermo Van Pamelen, what's racing we've seen from him this weekend. Gary Jones as well has been showing through. Darren Pearce, Harvey Baul has been in the action, and what a show. So we're just waiting for them to get the nod to qualify. There are 2 heat races remaining tonight. This is the first of those 2 remaining ones. After this will be the final heat race, and then we'll be off until the morning. So the karts are going to be released, of course, 1 warm-up lap and then into the qualifying itself. Well, leaving the pits now, and they're heading on. There's Andrew Duff, 2nd place in that lot. And Steve Gray looks to be the one following him. So Steve Gray's going to be 3rd out to qualify, very popular driver. And this is purely the warm-up lap. There's Zuzewski in the light blue helmet, just leaving the pits. And he's off out to start his qualifying run. Now, let's have a look here. So, crossing the line, starting the times, Guillermo Van Pamelen. Andrew Duff is following. Steve Gray had the fastest out lap, would you believe? They're all on their actual qualifying lap for real now. So Steve Gray looking pretty racy on that out lap. How will that translate now to the actual qualifier itself? Matt Bartsch has gone quickest on the out lap, and this is still the out lap, Spanners, not the qualifier yet. But Matt Bartsch is looking to take the pole. They're bringing the flag out, and the 18, of course, is Guillermo Van Pamelen. He's going to be the first one to set a time. We know it's going to be fast. Yes, it is. 33.5. Andrew Duff is in third. Steve Gray has gone 2nd. Steve Gray is up to 2nd. Ryan Jones is down the order a bit. Gary Jones is 3rd. Van Pamelen from Gray and Jones. Darren Pearce is in 6th. Oh, Matt Bartsch has picked them all. He's on to the front there with the pole position. Into 2nd place, Adrian Zuzewski. What a tournament he's had this year. A last-minute call-up. Harvey Baul there is down in 10th place. So Matt Bartsch will line up first from Adrian Zuzewski, Guillermo Van Pamelen, Steve Gray, Gary Jones, Andrew Duff, Darren Pearce, Ryan Jones and Harvey Baul. Obviously your favourite for this one for the win would have to be Matt Bartsch, but Guillermo Van Pamelen down there in third. And can Steve Gray do an Adam Davis? Excellent. Well, he's a Formula Fast member around here, and he's not been in sort of the major competitions. This is obviously his first major one, an international one at that. But he has been setting lap times in practice and on the club nights comparable to the front runners. So the speed is in there. Obviously, what he's got to do is get his head around things like pit stop, stuff like that. It's all exactly that. That's all part of what he's up here for, isn't it, really? Harvey Baul there we're talking about. He's starting 10th, and we're looking at him now. That's him there at the back of the line up there with the white helmet with the black and red on it. How old is he? There's us, yeah. I'm in the red, and there's Spanners waving his hand in the blue. Doesn't he look good? Okay then, so looking good there is Matt Bartsch down on the front. He's bringing them around now to start the race itself. What sort of start are we going to see from Matt Bartsch? He's going to be an early flyer or what? Well, he's certainly holding them back on speed. I think he wants to give himself a cleaner run as possible into that turn 3, that treacherous hairpin where we see so many problems. They are quite spaced out. This should be very clean through there, Spanners, you reckon? Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of that I think was down to Bartsch's start. He sort of evenly spaced people out. Now Bartsch, we've seen having a bit of a Lee Hackett style weekend in that he's been doing everything right. He's been getting the results as a rule, except for an earlier problem, but he's had to work for every bit of it. Every lap he's had some tough competition. He's never had a clear run. It's all been about holding people off. That earlier race, where he clearly wasn't quickest but still managed to win, stands out, Spanners, it really does. Yeah, absolutely. And driver in some cases, some of them are certifiable hit. Andrew Duff, you were talking about there, though, he's looking good, though, in 6th place. Again, he's a very solid performer. If he can do it once, he can do it again. No one's gone for the... Yes, they've gone for the early pit. Is that Harvey Baul? Harvey Baul, the young driver we were talking about, is the first one in the pits. He's taken an early stop, so maybe he feels that he's genuinely quicker than the likes of Ryan Jones and Darren Pearce in front. I think he's going to try and leapfrog him now. He's trying his hand. He's seen how the early pit stop has worked maybe for Remy Dranskin in the race before, and Harvey Baul there is thinking, you know what, I'm going to have some of that myself, and we'll see what happens. So there's Harvey. He's out on his own now. We know he can set the lap times, and being on his own is the way he can do that. Matt Bartsch shows leading the way. Zadusky second. Spanners. Well, I'd spotted something on the timing screen more than you picked up on the fact that Harvey Baul might be helped by a scrap developing between Duff and Pearce. Any scrap that develops them between them will also involve Ryan Jones, which will help Harvey Baul even more. So if he's going to get a 6th place or whatever in this race, that's probably where it's going to come from, as he spotted with Duff. But I think it'll also involve Ryan Jones, and so that could be good news for the youngster. He's circulating in 10th place, but we know he's got the speed. Now, and this was what was working with Adam Davis. At first, it wasn't obvious that he was going to be able to stay with Ed White, but then he started closing back up and stayed once he had closed up. You know, he almost got inspired by the fact he'd done it in the first place. Steve Gray needs to find that similar inspiration. He's 1.8 seconds behind the leader Bartsch, but Bartsch is under immense pressure from Zadusky and Van Pamelen, and that is going to be a lot of pressure indeed. And this could play in the hands of Steve Gray. Fastest on the track there at the moment, though, Van Pamelen. Absolutely, and you know what? If you ever go to Manchester, Daytona, Manchester, is it Daytona or Team Sport Manchester? It's Daytona, is it? and they have a nice bridge there, and you sticking your head down like that, you're going to get an absolute battering on the bridge doing that. Now, Baul maybe has fallen back a little bit from Darren Pearce, but I think Darren Pearce wasn't the one immediately in front of him that he was judging himself by. So we'll see if such a strategy is still on for Harvey Baul there. He's still running in 10th place, but we'll see if he's actually going to start making inroads, the driver ahead. Obviously, once he's got someone to look at but not be held up by, that can only help the situation. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've all been there, Spanners, that's a fact. We've been so intent on the guy in front that we have actually gone straight, as Martin Brundle would call it, to the scene of the accident with our friend. Anyhow, Matt Bartsch, this is the biggest lead you could say he's had, probably of the whole tournament, because he's now looking at about a 3-car length lead over Van Pamelen, who's managed to get ahead of Zatuski. Van Pamelen is the one who's trying to close the gap now on the leader Bartsch. Van Pamelen, of course, is looking for his first win of the tournament. He's been right up there, but he's yet to sort of uncork that. Van Pamelen is now, he sees this as probably his best chance, although any time you're talking about your best chance involving being against Matt Bartsch, that's a pretty slight best chance, isn't it? But Van Pamelen's closing in on the leader. And he made three tenths per second on him there, so from 0.8 to 0.5, Van Pamelen is making quite a serious motor race of this. Matt Bartsch continues in the lead, and it's Van Pamelen who's closing in on the leader. Zatuski isn't falling away from Bartsch, but it's Van Pamelen who's actually closing between the two on the race leader. Very interesting development here at the front. Now, right on his tail, you can see Guillermo Van Pamelen, and the former junior champ. He is on the back of Matt Bartsch. Matt Bartsch has been forced to really work hard on this one. We saw him write the textbook on winning while driving defensive in his previous race, and he's going to need to reread that book against Van Pamelen here. Suzuki is not really falling away. I think Matt Bartsch is trying to up the pace as much as he can. Van Pamelen has got no problem staying with him by the looks of things, and I think these pair might be edging away from Krakowski and Steve Gray behind in 4th place. Now, Steve Gray is in a sort of similar situation versus Zatuski to what Adam Davis found himself in the earlier race against Ed White. So what can we see from Steve Gray? Spanners, can you see actually Steve Gray maybe making inroads there and passing Zatuski? Yeah, and I think as much as anything, it's Van Pamelen who's actually closed the gap. Van Pamelen is still listed as the fastest on the track, and he's the only one who's into 33.0s on the lap timings. So it is Van Pamelen who's doing all the work, it could be said, and the others are sort of holding station amongst themselves. Steve Gray's got that kind of hunched up style, Spanners. You've got to assume that might start to ache over time. Doesn't seem to bother him though. Yeah. It's now his natural form. Zatuski, yeah. So as soon as the gap appeared, it got filled, yeah. Well, Van Pamelen first turned up last year, and he was massively rated by the Belgians and Dutch that knew him. Ruben Boutens was talking him up, so was Greg Laporte. And so Van Pamelen is really living up to the hype. Van Pamelen, of course, was Dutch junior champion in 2017, upgraded that to European champion in 2018, and now obviously he's got his eyes set on British champion in 2019. And of course, you know, we do associate lungeful, impetuous manoeuvres on youngs to be done by youngsters like Van Pamelen, but look at Yeah. Well, to be honest, Spanners, it's a bit of a Van Pamelen situation. What's actually happened, it's not that Gray's necessarily dropped back, it's that Zajewski has now closed in onto Van Pamelen. So the gap between, say, Bartsch and Gray is similar to what it's been, but Van Pamelen was the first one to move on the tail of Bartsch, and then Zajewski, having sort of seemed to fall away a bit, has now reclaimed his sort of lock onto the tail of Van Pamelen, and that's what's happened there. So Zajewski is definitely on the move. He's found some pace from somewhere. It's still Van Pamelen those listed as fastest, but you know, Bartsch is second fast, but on that previous lap, Zajewski was quicker than anyone. Yeah. Yeah, Van Pamelen has just taken the lead of the race, and there is Guillermo Van Pamelen leading a British Rental Car Championship race, and looks like he could well go for the victory in this one. Matt Bartsch, his troubles aren't over because he got Agent Zajewski trying to follow Van Pamelen through. Zajewski trying to strike while he irons up. Bartsch is trying to reclaim his win, but Zajewski's right in there with him. And would you believe that Steve Gray is now closer to the leader than he was earlier? So Steve Gray's actually closing in on the lot of them, while Van Pamelen has assumed the lead. Oh, absolutely. He came highly touted, and he's living up to every inch of that hype. And Van Pamelen, surely a star for the future. He's done it at junior level, now he's looking at senior level, and look at him go. Van Pamelen, of course, when he was here last year, he wasn't strong enough to lift his own seat weight. They were that heavy. And look at Steve Gray, he's actually closing in. Matt Bartsch, he's put a couple of taps on the back of Van Pamelen there. He's really trying to rattle the youngster, and he's taking it back. Matt Bartsch has retaken. Oh, and Van Pamelen head on into the wall. Is it bad? It's not that bad enough that he can't continue, but a certified hit head on into the barrier there from Van Pamelen. Well, was it helped by Bartsch, or was it just the fact that Van Pamelen couldn't really accept he had nowhere to go? And who made the biggest gains in all that kerfuffle? Steve Gray, now only 1.5 seconds behind the leader in 4th place. Steve Gray is really looking to make something of this. He saw what Adam Davis did, his teammate, and great friends for years, best of friends, these lot. They're forever on Facebook in pictures together, girlfriends as well. And, you know, oh, well, what's happened? Bartsch has given the place back. He's had to give, well, let's have a look at this. Zajewski's taken the lead. Bartsch has had to drop to 3rd, because by giving Van Pamelen the position back, he's had to therefore let Zajewski through as well. So Bartsch, to avoid disqualification, he's been deemed to have made a bad pass, and he's given it all back, but it's actually meant that Zajewski taking the lead. And look where Steve Gray is. He's right on the tail. He's pushing Bartsch along. I think he did, yeah, and he knows that it's Van Pamelen that he had to let through, but unfortunately for him, Zajewski had also passed Van Pamelen, so he had to let the pair of them through. But look at this back marker. Well, here's a test for the youngster Harvey Baul. He's got the leaders breathing down his neck. Not one of them, not two of them, not three of them, but 4 of them. And Harvey Baul is under great pressure now. He's got Agent Zajewski, who's not going to want to take any monkey business from the youngster. Baul is trying to stay out the way, but which way does he go when there's 4 of them trying to attack him? He's trying to let them all through. He's got punted aside by Matt Bartsch. Matt Bartsch really had no option but to really go for it there. Harvey Baul has done his best, but how on earth through a bend do you stay out of the way of 4 of those rapidly approaching leaders? He's done his best, hasn't he? He's done all right as Baul there. Yeah, we can't criticise that. Now, what will be interesting is, can Baul just use this and try and stay on the back of Steve Gray? Steve Gray's doing wonders to stay with Matt Bartsch, but can Baul actually try and keep some sort of position with Gray and be pulled along to even faster lap times? That's what he's trying to do, the youngster there. Every moment of every lap in this competition for him will be a massive learn. Gray in the pit, Gray in the pit. Absolutely. Well, it is, but having said that, you know, it is a very confident person who considers that he's been held up by Matt Bartsch and Guillermo Van Pamelen and Adrian Zajewski, isn't it? That's confidence in the extreme. But Steve Gray obviously feels that pitting is the right time. It may well be that pit stop was in his mind and he just wants to get the darn thing out of the way so he can keep his foot down right through to the finish line. There's only 6 minutes remaining, so it's not as early as it might appear. Well, if they miss him, if nobody sees him, no one knows he's done it, do they? Right, so we're looking at Zajewski down the bottom end there. He's got a bumper full of Guillermo Van Pamelen as Zajewski carries him around. Van Pamelen means business, and Matt Bartsch is there, and oh, no one in the pit yet. We're waiting for 3 leaders pit. There's only 5.5 minutes to go, so it's going to start coming. You'd have to say that it's not obvious which one would want to pit first as they come through the new section there. Onto that long corner down the backstretch. It's still nose to tail. They're maintaining station. All 3 of them are absolutely flat out. It's an amazing result. Gary Jones has moved up to 4th place as a result. And well, Suzuki still maintains the lead. We're on in the pits. It is Matt Bartsch. Matt Bartsch pitting out of that 3rd place. He's lost a place to Gary Jones. Gary Jones has moved up to 3rd place at the expense of Matt Bartsch's pit stop, but Bartsch is now back on track. He needs to come out side by side with somebody. Who was that? Whoever that somebody was has got ahead. It's Steve Gray! Gray has managed to leapfrog Matt Bartsch unbelievably in the pit stops. Gray has done it. Gray is technically up to a nominal 3rd place, should we call it. It's Zajewski who leads still. Van Pamelen, surely these guys can be pitting soon. Neither of them do. Jones is up to 3rd and so is Duff, but neither of them have pitted yet. And Steve Gray, incredibly, has managed to leapfrog Matt Bartsch. This is absolutely incredible racing for Steve Gray. Inspired by Adam Davis, surely, Spanners, but look at Gray go. What do you say to that?
Well, there you go. He was being held up by Bartsch. He says, I don't fancy this. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to have a pit stop. I'm going to do him. Job done.
Steve Gray inspired. Who knows whether he knew what, of course he knew what he was doing. He's always going to claim that one, but you have to say that this is the most amazing performance. I know he's won before, but I think he's driving better in this one. Look at that hunched over style.
Van Pamelen in the pits.
Van Pamelen in the pits. This is a crucial pit stop. He's running 2nd to Zajewski. How can he actually pass Zajewski in the pit stop rounds? Zajewski surely is going to have to come in soon. There's not much time left. Steve Gray continues to hold on ahead of Matt Bartsch. This is probably his biggest result in the whole of BRKC. I know he's won before, but he didn't win against Matt Bartsch last time. That's a fact.
Well, no, isn't it? It's the fact is Adam Davis said, hey, I was challenging Ed White, and Steve Gray said, hold my beer.
Absolutely. Here's the leader. It's Zajewski. Zajewski in the pits there. What's happened? Bartsch is having to let Gray through with a bad pass. Bartsch got ahead, but it was deemed a bad pass, and Gray is back through. But Zajewski has been passed by Van Pamelen. We were watching on screen the battle behind, but it's Zajewski's been passed by Van Pamelen. Van Pamelen has the lead, and could this be the most epic opening victory for Van Pamelen? He means business here. He's only got just 3 minutes to go, and Van Pamelen is looking good for a debut win in the British Rental Car Championship.
Van Pamelen took a risk on the outside of the pit exit there because he cut across. He didn't want to get stranded on the outside of turn 3, so he threw his car in and had contact. Could easily have been spun around, but held it.
And look at this, it looks like Harvey Baul is now up in front of Steve Gray. Steve Gray, Matt Bartsch, oh, coming out of the pits. That was Ryan Jones, and Harvey Baul is now up into 9th place at the expense of Ryan Jones. So Harvey Baul, he's been bundled out of position there. Steve Gray has lost a place though, has he? No, I can't really tell. Yes, Steve Gray continues in his position ahead of Matt Bartsch. Once Jones pits out the lead, Gary Jones is in the lead. Is Gary Jones going to take a pit stop? No, he isn't. He's being mighty brave, is Gary Jones. He's only got 2 minutes to go. He's got to do it on the next lap, surely. We're looking at Steve Gray, and what a performance by Steve Gray. He's shown as being in 4th place. He's going to be 3rd, surely, when Gary Jones pits. And there's Gray holding up ahead of Matt Bartsch. To do that takes some serious commitment, and that's what Gray has shown here. Spanners, incredible driving by Steve Gray.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. I think he is going to feel like he's won. That he's going to treat that as a race win if he can bring this home in front of Matt Bartsch.
Just like Davis, but this time Gray's come in 3rd, hasn't he? And it was 4th, wasn't it, for Davis?
Now there you go, still
the
number 1.
Sorry, Gary Jones. Gary Jones picks out the lead. So there's Gary Jones. He was the leader going in. He's going to get bundled down a bit. How far down will he go? Van Pamelen takes the lead with just 1.5 minutes to go. So Guillermo Van Pamelen reassumes the lead there at the expense of Gary Jones. And Van Pamelen is the fastest on the track. Van Pamelen's the fastest on the track. He's the only one into 33.0. He means to win this one from the front. So Guillermo Van Pamelen, 33 laps in and 1 minute to go. What a result by the amazing Dutch youngster. He was Dutch junior champion in 2017. He was European junior champion in 2018. And now he could win a race in the British Rental Car Championship at senior level. Steve Gray is still continuing to fight off Matt Bartsch, and Matt Bartsch is getting increasingly racy. Gary Jones is not far behind that pair, so any contact there could involve now Gary Jones. And there goes Guillermo Van Pamelen, Adrian Zajewski, and there's Steve Gray is just 4 seconds behind the leader. Van Pamelen, will they be bringing out the flag this time? They're readying the flag. It's going to be an amazing first British Championship win for the staggering Guillermo Van Pamelen. Guillermo Van Pamelen takes the win. What a result there. Adrian Zajewski, an incredible second place. Van Pamelen celebrating, throwing the car around. Incredible. Steve Gray comes in third. Steve Gray makes third place from Gary Jones, who just pips Matt Bartsch. Gary Jones somehow got up the inside of Matt Bartsch there. Goodness knows how that got worked out, but it happened. And Andrew Duff in 6th place, Darren Pearce 7th, and Harvey Baul there, the youngster, in his international debut, is up 1 place from 10th. He's in 9th. He'll be pleased with that. And Ryan Jones rounds him out there. And he was 17th in 2017. So, sorry, that's Gary Jones I'm talking about. Let's have a look. Ryan Jones there. He was 54th a couple of years ago. So that shows the standard it's at. But look at Steve Gray. Delighted. We saw a result there by Adam Davis earlier on, and Steve Gray there, absolutely deliriously happy with that. He'll be talking about this one for a while. He has won a BRKC race, but I think this oh, look at this. There's Adam Davis. We're going to be going down to the pit lane spanners. Surely he's got to be grabbing Gray. In fact, there's several he could grab. He needs to be grabbing Gray and Van Pamelen, but we'll see who he gets hold of.
Oh, come on then, go on. Ask him if we've got time for two. Steve, hang around. Ask him. Yes. Yeah. So Darren said definitely. Yeah. That just means I've got to remember to answer questions.
Oh, right, well, see if you can do it.
Take Guillermo. Guillermo. Hi, I'm here with Guillermo Van Pamelen. What an epic race win. I tell you what, your countrymen big you up, and you are showing them that all their faith is justified.
Yeah, I'm so happy. It was just really difficult. I don't know what Bartsch was thinking from that move, but I'm happy he got an orange flag and gave it back the position. And I was lucky to get a really good pit stop and pass another guy. I don't know his name.
Yeah, of course, you had to fight for the lead as well. It was a great move into turn 3 that got you into 2nd place and then past Matt Bartsch as well.
Yeah, I was really happy with that move. It was pretty clean, I think. And Matt Bartsch made a mistake. He ran a bit wide, and I thought, yeah, let's go for it.
So to force those kind of errors from someone as good as Matt Bartsch, you've got to be very pleased.
Yeah.
So you're going to win it now? You're going to go and win it, yeah?
I hope so.
Have a good rest up. We'll see you tomorrow. Great race win. But we also have to speak to Steve Gray. Who's Adam Davis? Who is he? You know, Steve, you've seen your teammate go out there and bully Ed White, and then you've gone and go, I'm going to go one step better. I'm going to go and mug Matty Bartsch for 3rd place. Wow.
It's what dreams are made of, isn't it? Like you say, me and Adam, we're two lads, we come from Blackpool. Karting's our life, it always has been. We've not got the big trophies other drivers have, we've not got the money other drivers have, but we come here for a good weekend, and to get a result like that is incredible.
They're not even from the south or anything, but you were in 4th place. You're looking at those 3 great drivers ahead of you going, do you know what? You lads are holding me up.
Well, that was it. I couldn't believe I was able to sit with them at one point. But no, they had a great battle up front, and it was nice to be able to see it from my point of view as well. But no, I mean, fair play. I have to say fair play to Matty Bartsch. I know a couple of the moves are a bit hit and miss, but he let me back through. Fair play to the guy, and it was a good result in the end. But yeah, absolutely over the moon.
The thing is, normally you two would go and have a beer on the Saturday night, but you're doing quite well. You might have to keep off it.
I don't know. It depends. Depends how tempting the beer is, doesn't it, really? We'll have to see, but yeah, great stuff. Thank you very much.
The beer's very tempting. Back to you, James.
Nice one, Spanners, and well, there's 2 epic interviews there. That was always going to be a real privilege to be able to interview Guillermo Van Pamelen on his first win. Clearly deliriously happy. And what about Steve Gray? You're not going to find happier people than Steve Gray and Adam Davis. You know, it's kind of funny watching them. If you're friends with them on Facebook, it's pretty hilarious. They're just always doing stuff, and it usually involves carts. They rope their girlfriends in and all this kind of thing. And they really, I think, they're 2 of the happiest people I actually know in life. I do genuinely envy Adam Davis and Steve Gray. I really do. Wonderful lads, and as I say, they're just 2 lads from Blackpool, and it really boils down to that. They're not what you consider on the face. They've got no intention of really being international kart racers, but they just love it so much that they're well on their way to accidentally becoming